On this episode of MythBusters,
Fly, fly, that's it, come on, fly.
high flyers Adam and Jamie get caught up in a tall tale from the world of physics. They're asking, if birds in a truck take flight, does the trailer get lighter?
They're all flying.
And Carrie, Grant, and Tori get all bent out of shape on the biggest build of their myth-busting careers.
Jamie makes it look so easy when he does it.
If a boat traveling at 25 miles an hour crashes into a channel marker, will it split in two? Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage
Is everybody ready for diving?
and Jamie Heineman.
Gets me all worked up just looking at it.
That was beautiful.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
That was heavy.
Joining them, Grant Imahara,
Are you feeling lucky, punk?
Tori Belleci,
Somebody order some exploding pants.
and Carrie Byron.
High explosives and electricity. Woo!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Okay, Adam, what have you got for us?
Here's the story. A guy's driving behind a big truck, and every time the big truck gets to a bridge, it stops, the driver of the truck gets out, bangs on the side, and then proceeds across the bridge. He runs into the truck driver at a gas station and says, "Why are you banging on the truck?" And the truck driver says, "Well, I got a load of birds, and they're over the weight limit of most of these local bridges. So whenever I get to one, I bang on the truck, they fly around, and my truck is lighter."
Clever.
So the myth for us is, if you're driving around with a truckload of birds and they take flight, is your truck lighter?
So the question is, will a container full of flapping, feathery friends lighten the load? For years, this simple concept has had big-brained boffins baffled. On campus, it's a conundrum that's frazzled physicists, not to mention the furor on the fan site. Sounds like a job for the Mythbusters.
Should we start small or should we go for the whole enchilada all at once?
Well, obviously, eventually we're going to need a truck, but I think we can start right now by going out, catching a bird, building a chamber, and seeing if it weighs the same when the bird is sitting in it as opposed to when the bird is flying in it.
Okay, well, I got some pretty sensitive scales downstairs and I can probably dig up a net somewhere.
Let's do it.
All right.
For this myth to take flight, our dynamic duo have to land some pigeons. And in a scene straight from Hitchcock, the birds appear from nowhere. Pigeon whisperer Adam and accomplice Jamie use a variety of snares, nets, and snacks.
The birds will be too fat to fly.
But their pigeon stalking comes to zero, and they realize they need some help. Enter Kate Martin, pigeon wrangler.
Brought you some pigeons.
Awesome.
Come on, you guys. 2 pigeons in an official pigeon carrier.
Look at that.
Finally, Adam's all pigeoned up and ready to begin small-scale testing. A clear plastic chamber will double up as a truck trailer, and when activated, a vibrating floor will encourage the pigeons to take flight. But this is your gig, Adam. Why don't you take us through it?
I've got my bird flying chamber here. It's got a closed top. The bottom is a screen, which I can vibrate by plugging it into this battery. The whole thing is standing on top of a very sensitive scale. First thing I'm going to do is turn on the scale, which will zero it out. Then I'm going to put the birds in. I'm going to see the birds weigh a certain amount. Then I'm going to turn on the platform, which will vibrate. Hopefully they'll fly around, and we'll see if there's any difference.
So, if the myth is true, when the pigeon gets some air, the combined weight of the chamber and bird will come down. Sounds simple.
Fly, fly, that's it, come on, fly. Come on, take off, take off, take off.
Now there's your problem. The bird just ain't flying.
I don't blame him, I mean, because it's
You
not
can
like...
barely get a full wingspan in there.
Yeah, you know, he's running into the sides.
Maybe we need to build a bigger chamber.
So plan B is a bigger chamber and better motivation to fly than a vibrating floor. What have you got, Jamie?
My current favorite is thinking about setting up a weed whacker-like affair, and we could put like a half a dozen motors so that there's just it's just kind of whizzing around. I mean, I can't imagine this would hurt them. I mean, you could, it doesn't hurt you, right?
No.
For our animal-loving viewers, let's be clear. Adam's pain threshold is way below the pigeon's. So if Adam's okay, the bird will be too.
All right, so if you haven't been paying attention, my first attempt at the small-scale pigeon experiment did not work because the chamber was too small and the pigeon didn't want to fly. I have fixed those problems. I believe I'm going to hang this, use a different pigeon annoying technique, and I'm using a bigger tank so he can actually fly around. I feel like calling this guy Jackson for some reason. Now, I have a nephew whose name is Jackson, and I have another nephew whose middle name is Jackson. He doesn't remind me of either of them.
Okay, Jackson, you're up. Now remember, all you gotta do is what you were born to do. Fly.
Freaked me out, but it's not doing anything to him.
Come on, come on, come on, Jackson, come on, come on, come on.
That's pigeon for fly. It's also desperate because if they can't get Jackson to take off and stay airborne, this myth is grounded.
Okay guys, check this out. I found it on the internet.
Whoa.
Is that photoshopped?
Apparently not. And supposedly the boat hit the channel marker at 25 miles per hour.
Seriously? That's split up the middle, like what, 15 feet?
17 feet, actually.
Ha! You know what I see in our near future?
Yeah, crashing boats.
Absolutely.
This tall tale of hijinks on the high seas has two halves, literally. We know it happened because it's been well documented, but the myth is in the details. Apparently, in this watery fender bender, the boat bifurcation occurred at 25 miles per hour. Fact? Or has someone got their facts bent out of shape?
So what's the plan?
All right, this is what we do. We rent one of these speedboats, we take some insurance out, and we crash it into a channel marker.
And we tell them we're going 25 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Okay, why not? Well, the $350,000 price tag and a bad rep with insurance companies is why not. But all is not lost. Down at John Beery Yachts, our trio of thrill seekers get the opportunity to experience the power behind the powerboat. And Sean, their high-speed chauffeur for the day, has even heard of the myth.
So the myth that we're working on here today actually came from the internet. There's this photo going all over of a sports performance boat, not yours, but one sort of like that, that apparently was going 25 miles an hour and bifurcated itself on a channel marker 17 feet deep. Now, do you think that's possible at that kind of speed?
In my opinion, no. The photograph that I viewed, that boat had to have been traveling at a much greater rate of speed to do the damage that I saw.
Well, with a top speed of 150 miles per hour, faster we can do. But unfortunately, someone is going to quite literally miss the boat.
Rochambeau. Odd man out.
You're in the chase boat!
You gotta be kidding me!
With just room for two, it's all but one aboard.
That is loud!
It's really loud. It's not like a quiet sport, is it?
With engines and hearts racing, Grant discovers his voice hasn't broken.
Okay. There aren't any seatbelts in this thing, are there?
With the speedo approaching 100 miles an hour, no wonder Grant's nervous.
Wow. Great.
Are you trying to hold my hand?
No, I'm just trying to hold on to something.
By now, the guys at Donzi Performance Boats have realized Carrie and Grant can't afford the fuel for this trip, never mind the boat. And this myth investigation is anchored at square one. The MythBusters are trying out for CSI. That's Crash Scene Investigation. They're asking, can you bifurcate your boat in a collision with a channel marker? The only evidence they have is this photo and accompanying reports that the boat was traveling at 25 miles per hour. To find out if this is possible, our team want to replicate myth conditions and impale their own boat. But with a brand new boat way out of their price range, our crack team of researchers has found the bargain of a lifetime.
This is
Not
gonna
too
be.
many holes?
No, this is gonna be great.
No, I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Do you think it's seaworthy?
I don't know if it's seaworthy, but it's definitely crash worthy.
We got this boat for a bargain. It was only $1,500. We're talking about boats that can be up to $350,000. So we were a little apprehensive about when it showed up, what it was gonna look like. Turns out it's amazing. The structure is perfect. It may not have an engine, but we'd have to take that out anyway. So we're really, really excited.
No wonder Carrie is excited, because with the full-scale boat dry docked in the MythBusters Marina, the team can move on. And first up are some small-scale crash tests. And this 1/10 model is a great starting point.
Oh, I love this boat. It's my favorite boat. I don't want to crash it.
Okay, we need to crash these boats over and over. I need to make several of them. So I need to make a mold of this particular model boat. I'll make a silicone mold. I'll paint silicone over this in 2 halves, make a mother mold on top of that. Then I'll be able to pull it apart and lay up any material I want inside the mold.
Done. Okay.
And to match the motorboat in the myth, Tari's material of choice is fiberglass. It's nasty and noxious, so Tari is banished outside to finish up, which he does by gluing the hardened halves together. And before you can say bifurcation, Tari's got himself some mighty fine toy boats.
He's pretty, isn't it?
Meanwhile, Grant has been working on a rig to tow the models into a replica channel marker, simulating the mythical impalement impact. His remote-controlled winch and trolley is calibrated so the boat crashes into the steel pole in exactly the same place as the myth, just to the left of the bow. But hold on, where'd the H2O go?
So you at home might be wondering why we're doing our small-scale experiments on land as opposed to water, since ostensibly the myth is about a boat on water. Well, there are 2 reasons. First, water, not unlike many primal forces, doesn't scale correctly in miniature. It has a different response than it does in full scale. Now, the second reason, and I think more importantly, is that this myth is about kinetic energy, a mass at a certain velocity hitting an object. And that we can certainly do on land.
So this is a dry run in more ways than one. Take us through it, Carrie.
This is the setup for the small-scale experiment. We have a fiberglass boat, which is 1/10 the scale of our real-life boat. It's also weighted to 1/10 the scale. It's sitting atop a trolley that Grant's created with a smart wheel so that it can correct itself all the way down a long cable, which is being pulled through a pulley into a channel marker, which is set stably into the ground. The entire thing's being controlled by a winch, which Grant can remote control from this end, and hopefully in the end we'll have a perfect bifurcation as it crashes into that end of the shop.
3, 2, 1, go.
No mythical split, just a glancing blow.
Well, the boat's intact.
And with everything to scale, there's only one thing for it: more speed.
Should we ramp it up?
Sure.
Unfortunately, the only thing ramping up is the frustration level, as the kinks and glitches in their system work themselves out.
Well, that's not gonna work.
I see one problem.
It's one of those days, everything that can go wrong
Oh, we bifurcated the trolley.
goes wrong. But as Edison nearly said, myth-busting is 1% genius and 99% perseverance. And their patience is rewarded when they get some realistic collisions with the channel marker.
That was cool.
But despite increasing the speed, the impact and resulting damage peaks at glancing blow.
Oh, that was cool.
But Grant's frustrated, and his OCD kicks in. That's obsessive crash disorder. He wants to see some damage and hands Tari a challenge.
I will give you $5, and if you can ram this into the channel marker and break it.
Ooh, $5?
I'll give you $10.
That's a whole week's salary, and Tari can't resist.
$10.
Okay, so it can be done. And the team suspect the angle of attack was key. Like in the myth, Tari was aiming to the left of the bow, and he adds a turn into the pole.
If it can do
All right.
it like that, that shows me maybe the turn is the way to go.
Let me try it again, just going straight. and see what happens.
With an attempted head-on collision, it's back to glancing blow. And with that discovery, the small-scale tests are back on track. To be sure, Tori once again adds that last-minute twist. And what do you know?
Well, that tells us a lot. It tells us it's better to hit the marker at a turn as opposed to just going straight into it.
Finally, a result. But it's been a long and frustrating day, and Carrie and Grant feel the need to let off some steam.
I am so sick doing small-scale experiments.
Pete Townsend, eat your heart out.
Okay, so how crazy was that it took Tori smashing that boat by hand into the pole before we could find out that we need a turn at the last minute to split it?
You know, I think these variables are just too tough to scale down. I think if we're going to test this for real, we need to go to full scale.
I propose we do this on land because this myth is really about kinetic energy. It's the mass, which is the boat, hitting the channel marker with a certain velocity. And doing it on water doesn't buy us anything extra.
Yeah, and I think it'd be a lot easier to control on land.
Among top-level physicists, it's a fundamental question with a hotly debated answer. If the weight of a truck full of birds is X, when the birds take flight, is it now X minus the weight of the birds? That is, does the truck get lighter? Adam and Jamie's first foray in this myth fell flat, so it's time to look outside the box. Cue the aerodynamicist to speak some geek.
We need your help. We've got a story that's come up that we're testing right now. It is a question that is all over the fan sites. It's if you're driving with a truckload full of birds and they take flight inside your truck, is your truck actually lighter while they're flying around?
That's actually a very often told physics urban legend.
Can you tell us something about the mechanics of flight that would apply to this? I mean, we know birds flap their wings and there's lift involved, there's downward pressures. What's going on here that we need to be focusing on?
Well, the basic premise of all flight, whether it be a helicopter or a plane or a bird flapping its wings or just even gliding, is that it takes air and deflects it downward, and the downwards force on the air will in turn cause a reaction force upward that will help lift whatever the object is against the force of gravity.
Wait, a helicopter and a bird are actually using the same physical principles to fly?
Absolutely. It all comes down to Newton's laws.
So let's get this straight. To get airborne, you push down on the air beneath you hard enough to lift your own weight. And because the principle works for birds and helicopters alike, Jamie and Adam have an idea, which means the pigeons get a break.
Pigeons are what the myth is about, but pigeons sometimes don't do exactly what you want them to do. So we figure that a similar sort of a thing that might show the same phenomenon, if there is one, would be a little helicopter that we can control.
But it's not as simple as that. Flying a chopper in an enclosed space creates turbulence, making it hard to hover. So to run the bench test, Adam's built this rig, which will allow it to lift but keep it centrally tethered at the same time.
Excellent. 52.0. 52.6.
Adam has measured the weight difference of the container with and without the chopper. Now, the question is, when the helicopter takes off, will the chamber get lighter?
Hey, look, lift off! We got lift off! Look at that! The scale is not changing. 52.6, 52.6. Dude, that's liftoff. I so did not expect this rig to work. All right.
In a break from MythBuster tradition, Adam has success with a scale test.
I know that my helicopter weighs 0.6 of a pound. So if the myth was true, I should have seen that meter go from 52.5 or 6 to 52 flat.
But that's not the whole story. This myth is about birds, and trust Jamie to get straight to the heart of the problem.
We gotta try it in a truck or something close to it with the birds.
So it's full scale ahead. And after a MythBuster makeover, this trailer, standing in for the truck and the myth, will be full of flying birds for the final test weigh-in.
That's cool. You look like a little animal in a circus cage.
With the front fitted with clear plastic, Jess and Jamie are done. And it's time for a flight test. There are no scales yet, so this test is simply to confirm the birds are comfortable spreading their wings. If they don't, Adam and Jamie are back to square one.
Hey!
But it's immediately obvious there's plenty of room. So, final prep on the big rig begins. The flight motivators go in first. These rotating foam tubes are supposed to keep the pigeons in the air.
There we go.
We have liftoff. Next, the team makes sure there are no nooks or crannies where the pigeons can land and take a rest. It works for MythBusters. But how about the pigeons?
You ready?
Ready? I have no idea what's going to happen here.
So Adam and Jamie have finally got Jackson and friend to fly in an enclosed space. Now comes the tricky bit, catching a flock more birds, letting them loose in the trailer, and accurately weighing them. The story of the bifurcated boat has brought Carrie, Grant, and Tori close to breaking point. And to prevent this parable of split personality from sinking without a trace, it's land ahoy. With the decision to move on to terra firma, the team is on firmer footing. Because by supersizing their crash test rig, they have a ready-made plan. As before, the reinforced channel marker is at ground zero. Grant's winch system will be replaced by a tow truck, and the boat trailer, modified with a smart wheel, will steer accurately towards its date with disaster. But there's one final piece of the plan, how to get that last-minute turn.
If we learned anything from our small-scale tests, I think the turn is probably one of the most critical things. So there has to be some way for us to steer it into the channel marker at the last second.
To get the boat to turn where we want it, maybe we could do is make a set of smart wheels at the front of the boat, and this will steer the boat wherever we want it to go. And then what we could do is put like a crossbar here, and we'll put a post in the ground, so when this bar hits that post, it'll turn the wheels into the marker.
Cool. Sounds good.
So it's a done deal, and the newly named Mythity Split ups anchor and ships out.
Say goodbye to the Mythity Split.
Its port of call, a familiar dockside destination with an impeccable MythBuster pedigree.
We're back here at the Alameda runway. This is the site of some of our more famous myths. And in fact, I'm sitting on the X right here, which is going to be our channel marker. It's also the spot where our compact in the end smashed into each other.
Hoping to match that spectacular smash with a big bang of their own, the team embark on what's to become their toughest build ever.
Bueno! That's Spanish for good.
Carrie and Grant begin by raising the channel marker into position.
Now that we have the pole in place, the next step is to weld around the bottom of the pole to hold it in place to the plate. Then we're going to lay that heavy girder to the back of this pole and then triangulate railroad track to it. So it's going to be completely stationary and not going to move when we smash the boat into it. I'm just excited we got the pole in place. I'm gonna do my pole dance. Not what you expected, huh?
While Grant and Carrie have been cranking up the heavy metal, Tori has been trashing his trailer and adding the smart wheels. Now they can steer with a single cable tow, and when the hull of the Mythity Split hits the channel marker, the trailer won't be in the way. Finally, he adds these 55-gallon drums, which, when filled with water, will weigh the same as the missing engines.
This whole myth is about mass moving at speed. So it's important that we have the correct mass as we're moving at the speeds that we're going to test.
Meanwhile, Carrie and Grant are making triple sure the channel marker stays put when the mythity split hits.
The next step we have, or at least the next really big step we have, is that we're going to drill holes in various places all around this giant structure here so that we can implant foot-long pieces of rebar into those holes, weld them to this structure. So not only is this going to be the heaviest thing you've ever seen, but it's also going to be clawed into the ground.
Things are going so well, Grant finds time to hang around.
The prep for the boat myth is going great so far. I just hope that the weather holds out.
Just had to mention the weather, didn't you? And as the rain gets heavier, the problems mount, and the work on the final stages slows to a crawl.
I'm so over this one. I'm pretty much over this one.
With Old Testament-style flooding, maybe they could rename their boat the Ark.
Yeah, I think we were a little bit worried that the fans might be upset that we weren't doing this on the water. Well, now we are.
Despite the tough conditions, they pull through.
Jamie makes it look so easy when he does it.
And push on for a tow test of the trailer.
I'm so excited. It works. It looks really cool. We got like a boat car, or a car boat. I'm not sure which one.
And with just the trigger to rig for the critical last-minute turn, it's all hands on deck.
We've mapped out exactly where the bow should hit the channel marker, and this, I'm drilling a hole right here for the trigger, which will turn the wheels, slam the boat into the channel marker, therein bifurcating the boat, or not.
So the build is finally complete, and Carrie and Tori celebrate. The boat is moved into position, gently. No one wants the wheels to come off now.
All right, now for the moment of truth.
At the opposite end of the track, Grant has the truck all hooked up and ready to tow.
So these are chains connected to the tow truck. Got our shackle. This is a breakaway rope for safety. And then the cable. I think we're ready to take up slack.
And as twilight descends, they're wet, cold, but ready to put this tale to the test.
All right, take it slow and then take it up to 25 miles an hour on my count. Ready?
Ready.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
This is it. Remember, they're asking if a speedboat at 25 miles per hour plus channel marker equals this kind of boat-splitting destruction. We're about to find out.
5 miles per hour.
Can you guys go faster?
10 miles per hour.
But suddenly, disaster.
Did we lose the cable?
Cable grab.
As Tori said, that's not good. The breakaway rope that's designed to break on impact snapped under the strain of the tow. And with this last-minute failure in the fading light, Team Unity is the first casualty.
So for all the other things where we tow something big into something else and it crashes, we use a breakaway rope. And, you know, there's a standard one that we've been using, which is a blue marine rope. We know its breaking strength is 6,000. But on this particular one, Tori really didn't want to use that. He wanted to use this. So, but tomorrow, I think what we're going to do is go back to what we used to use that was working.
Dude, we've never used the blue rope.
We always use the
No,
blue
we
rope.
haven't.
Yes, we do.
Not for the breakaway.
Yes, we do. No, we don't.
Seeing as Grant and Tori are rejecting each other's reality and substituting their own, this argument is on a road to nowhere. Let's come back tomorrow. Bifurcated Boat has once again brought our wet and mild Mythbusters to breaking point.
We always use the
No,
blue
we
rope.
haven't.
Yes, we do.
Not for the breakaway.
Yes, we do.
But all that actually breaks are their voices. And in the cold dark of the next day, they once again prepare the good ship Mythity Split for its 25-mile-an-hour collision.
Cool.
Positions, everyone. Jess takes her place in the tow truck, and the rest of the team stand by, level with the crash zone.
Okay, Jess, are you ready?
Ready when you are.
All right, here we go in 3, 2,
1, drive.
All right, we're at 5 miles per hour.
Okay, gosh.
Now we're at 10 miles per hour. 15 miles per hour.
Yeah! It's picking up. Come on.
Oh my God, I can't believe this is gonna happen.
20 miles per hour.
Oh, it's perfect.
That's 25.
Here it goes, here it goes, here it goes, here it goes.
Wow!
It's beautiful. It hit it right on target.
Great job, you guys.
Well, the rig worked. And big things hitting big things always equals happy MythBusters.
Look how much damage it didn't do to the channel markers.
Yeah!
Oh.
But look at where the trailer is. It totally turned. It turned.
It worked.
25 miles per hour, you can see it for yourself. No bifurcation.
I guess the story might not have happened exactly as it was reported.
So we're gonna say 25 miles an hour, it's busted.
Oh, the story's busted at 25, and so is our trailer.
Dude, it worked perfectly
Definitely.
though. It turned right into the channel marker.
Busted.
Yeah.
Busted.
So, busted is the unanimous verdict. And a closer look at the boat reveals no evidence to the contrary.
Whoa.
God,
this is some serious damage, but no bifurcation.
Yeah, look at it.
Look at that, you guys.
It definitely indented, and it did do the turn.
It did do the turn exactly as we predicted.
I just don't think there was enough speed behind that momentum.
No, definitely.
If we were going faster, though, I could definitely see it splicing through this thing.
Considering how much damage is done here, yeah, maybe if we were going a lot faster.
Regular viewers will guess what's coming next. But for the uninitiated, the MythBusters are never quite satisfied until...
I want to see some carnage.
So now the big question is, how are we going to try to do another run with this trailer? Because we want to try to see if we can get a bifurcation at 50 miles an hour. That's going to be the tricky part.
We don't got a lot of time here, and we need to fix the trailer. So we're going to try some quick and dirty methods to try to get this thing rolling. It doesn't have to roll well, it just has to go. So our first try is going to be to take that corner, chain it to the channel marker. And then we're going to take the other corner, and we're going to try to pull on it and maybe get the trailer to sort of reshape itself, almost sort of square.
It rolls! We might be able to do this again.
Then we're going to try to cut off the first two wheels so that the axles that are kind of bending into each other are gone. And then we'll just start dragging it. If it rolls at all, we're going to stick the boat on it, we're going to throw it back there, and we're going to drag it into this bad boy.
Yeah!
Looks good.
Yeah!
Huh?
I think we can do another run.
You get one single bad run, and that's it. One.
That's right. One single bad.
The prospect of high-speed carnage does wonders for the morale. And even another icy shower during the reset can't dampen their spirits.
Consider your next vacation to the runway at Alameda. Beautiful views of San Francisco and the Bay Bridge. Plenty of space to stretch out and smash big things into other big things. Rain? We got plenty of it. So call your travel agent. The runway at Alameda. Okay, escape plan, same as last time. If the boat's coming at you, run.
All right, so we busted the 25-mile-an-hour myth.
Yep.
So let's do this one.
All right.
Count it down.
Jess, you ready?
I'm more than ready.
All right, on my countdown. Ready in 3, 2, 1.
The question is a fan site favorite. If the birds in a truck take flight, is the truck lighter than when the birds are at rest? To answer, Adam and Jamie have weight on their minds.
The more I think about this, the more I think that not only do we need a really sensitive scale, but we also, well, if you think about the birds moving around in this truck, they're going to be shifting the weight of it. It's like, you know, you or I dancing on a bathroom scale. It's not a consistent weight. So we want to be able to graph the weight of this thing as it changes. We want to be able to look at the final thing as like points on a graph over time.
Well, you know, there are these things called load cells. They're an instrument that detects pressure, and maybe we could use those as a sensor that we put in each corner of the truck body and plug them into a computer. In fact, and now that I think about it, there was this company that approached me some time ago that has a computer that's made to take like 16 sensor inputs.
It could easily take the load cells as inputs, and they probably could graph it any which way we want.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Why don't you call those guys and I'll get on finding us some load cells.
Okay.
Hey, Adam, how about this one?
This is going to be what weighs our truck. This is a load cell. We're going to put one under each corner, and as the trailer sits on this piece of metal will bend a little bit. That bend will be registered by a crystal on the side here, which will output a change in voltage through this wire that will be read by our computer and output as points on a graph over time. It measures up to 500 pounds down to a sensitivity of like 1/10 of an ounce. It is perfect for our needs.
And with this computer collating that info while providing a real-time graph of the changing weight of the trailer, Grant's inner geek gets out.
Sweet.
Now, all they need is a bunch of birds, and Jamie, undaunted by their recent failure, has a cunning plan.
I figure Jackson can be sort of a stool pigeon, I think they call it. And because
that's a good solution, I think.
If he gets a bunch of visitors, we'll have a bunch of pigeons. All right?
I love it. I think it's great.
Good luck, Jackson.
Surrounded by bird feed, Jackson settles in for the free buffet. But once again, the local pigeons are just too smart. So the undaunted Jamie has been daunted.
I'm giving up.
And the only bird brain in a net is Adam.
We're not defeated by the task of catching pigeons. Even though it's not critical to this myth, it's a point of pride. We're going to catch some pigeons with MythBusters' invention. And I think it's going to be a web shooter.
It's the motto MythBusters live by. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
Jamie and I have discussed various plans, and I think we're going to build something similar to a potato cannon of plumbing parts made into an air chamber with an electrically operated valve and manifold that spreads 4 tennis balls with this net between them around our unsuspecting pigeons.
You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow, that was cool.
That was cool. It works on Adam, but as we've seen, the pigeons round here are a lot smarter than the TV hosts. Shh, Jamie's hunting pigeons.
Now listen, I know that there are many tried and true methods for catching pigeons that are quite simple, and I know that you're going to email them to us. The fact is, we wanted to try a MythBusters solution.
But despite hardware Rambo would be proud of, the local pigeons remain as free as birds. Which means en route to the full-scale test, Kate, the pigeon wrangler, gets another call. And once again comes up trumps.
How many is that? I think we got 36.
That ought to do it.
With the birds taken care of, Adam and Jamie can concentrate on setting up. And the abandoned naval yard is just perfect.
This is the same location that we used for killer cable snap, and we used it because it's got a big flat welding grid that is a nice level surface. For killer cable snap, we used it to weld to and anchor all the stuff for the cables. For birds on a truck, it makes a perfect platform for the trailer to be on because we need it super level. The next thing that we're going to do is jack this trailer up and put it on blocks. On the top of each block, in each corner, each of the 4 corners, will be a thing called a load cell.
With all 4 load cells in position, Grant and Jess set up at the command center. They'll monitor the weight of the trailer throughout the experiment.
Okay, so we've calibrated all of our load cells, which are the sensors that are going to tell us if there are any changes in the weight of the truck. Those are going into a computer. The computer's going to record all of that information along with video in real time, so we can see if, when the birds fly up, if there are any changes in the weight.
And with the pigeons in position and not flying, the team has starting weight.
Okay, so that's a difference of 11 pounds with the birds in place. I'll zero everything out to that, and that'll be our starting point, right?
Right. So if the weight drops while the birds are flying, the myth is confirmed. It's go time.
Stand by, and I'm recording now.
Okay, I'm spinning the motors.
Jess, in 3, 2, 1, go.
welcome back. Here's where we stand. We're trying to bust the myth that if you're driving with a truckload full of birds and they all take flight inside that truck, is it lighter than when they're just sitting there? We tried a bunch of scale experiments, but all of the chambers we used for scale experiments were too small for the birds to fly around in, so we had to go full scale right away. This is our full-scale rig. It's sitting on 4 load cells. We've got calibrated computer equipment reading exactly the weight of those birds when they're sitting there. They're all going to fly at the same time. They can't land anywhere, but these foam batons that are spinning and make them fly around. We're going to test this myth for real and see if it's true.
So the bird truck myth is about to shake its tail feathers.
Jess, in 3, 2, 1, go. They're all flying.
It's beautiful. Most of them are flying. That's great.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to call it, all right?
All right.
All right, we're done.
Okay.
And stopping.
Woo! That worked better than I thought it would. They all flew for like a good maybe 15 seconds.
That's great.
And the high-speed camera captures the moment.
All the work we did is to get this shot that you can see them all flying and be weighing it all at the same time. It's just stunning.
Yeah, it's all there, and this is synced with what's on the computer. This is great. Good job, you guys.
Nice work. Awesome.
But getting a truckload of birds to fly isn't the point. The question is, does the trailer get lighter?
So there's no difference when they were in the air.
No, but you can see minor fluctuations happening very quick. But
Well, what I see is the fluctuations have about the exact same amplitude both above and below the 0 point. I mean, it's a noisy signal, but here it's clear there's no difference.
Yeah, that's great.
Dude, that is beautiful. And although the data is quite noisy, which of course it would be with so many variables of 20 birds, it proves that the birds on a truck do not change the weight of that truck in any significant way.
So the myth is busted, but Jamie and Adam still aren't quite satisfied.
I think we busted this myth with the pigeons flat out. The data looks beautiful, but it's a bit noisy. This helicopter is going to be a very clean and stable signal. We should be able to see it on the graph much more steady than we see the birds. And this is the nail in the coffin for this myth. If we see no change in the weight of the trailer with a helicopter in it, it's busted again and once and for all.
Stepping up for the tricky task of flying the remote-controlled chopper is M5 shop assistant Chris. And his boss Jamie is full of encouragement.
Chris is well motivated to not crash the helicopter. It's a fairly expensive helicopter, so it'll just come out of his pay if he does any harm to it. Either that or I'll fire him.
With thoughts of unemployment crowding his mind, how could he fail?
Chris, we're ready to go when you want. Get that thing just a foot off the ground.
Okay.
Come on, baby. Whoa!
Did you get a reading?
Hold on. We're gonna have to take a look.
Can you kill it?
Unsurprisingly, that brief, disastrous flight doesn't yield any results.
Dude. All right. Why don't you go back to the shop and get your other helicopter, and we'll try and get a reading off of that one.
Let's try another one.
Yeah.
Chris, despite Jamie's ominous silence, believes he's still employed and soon returns with his own model chopper.
Chris, hover that puppy as you will.
Hey, Chris, tense much?
It's off.
Yeah! Okay, perfect. Shut it down. That was perfect.
There was no bother with that hover. But what about the results?
It's off the ground.
And the line's stable.
The line is totally stable.
And then when it gets back down.
Give me some, man. That is beautiful.
Perfect.
No wonder they're pleased with themselves. This is the myth that just wouldn't die.
This myth has been very persistent. It's been all over the fan site, it's been all over the web, and I'm glad we finally put it to rest. You can see what's going on here. It's very clear, especially with the helicopter. The helicopter is sitting there, its weight is on the trailer. And at a certain point, the props speed up appropriately. The weight is shifted away from the feet of the helicopter, and instead it's replaced by air pushing down on the trailer. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. There's no free lunch here.
Busted. Totally busted.
Well, I thought we did a great job of it. I mean, the rig worked really well.
Do you think this is going to somehow curb the furious debate on the fan site?
Of course not.
Yeah, I bet it won't either, but man, this is the final word because nobody else has ever gotten 20 birds flying simultaneously in a truck while weighing it every 10th of a second in your face. It's busted.
It's busted.
Carrie, Grant, and Tori have drowned the myth that at 25 miles per hour, you can have 2 boats for the price of 1. But it wouldn't be MythBusters if the team didn't ramp it up in an attempt to replicate the results.
So we've already busted the myth. Bifurcated boat, 25 miles per hour into a channel marker, it's busted. But that's not what this is about. This is about actually splitting the boat in 2. So we set up a tow cable on each side of the channel marker. We're going for 50 miles an hour, and we're going to get this boat to split. Absolutely.
All right, on my countdown. Ready in 3, 2, 1.
The target speed is 50 miles an hour, and our tow trucker has his foot to the floor.
35.
Come on, faster, faster, punch it.
Well, it didn't bifurcate, but it was still pretty cool.
Once again, the mythity split didn't. As per the myth, contact was just to the port side, but despite the increased speed, the result was still only a glancing blow.
The way these are made is very, very strong. It's beautiful. It's not likely that something is going to split down the middle.
Yeah, you'd have to get a really good shot at a high velocity.
And whoever split that boat must have been going a lot faster than 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's
I'm guessing more like 80 or 90.
With the trailer gone, but the boat still intact, the team have to get creative to get satisfaction.
I need more carnage. We still have the crane, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the boat up about 100 feet and drop it on the ground. Then I'll be satisfied.
Go, 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 go!
Yeah!
Oops. I'm thinking that went down like a lead balloon with the crane driver.
We are in so much trouble.
Not yet. Yeah, we're kind of in trouble. A little trouble.
Yep, I wouldn't want to be the one to tell Jamie.
Whoa!
Oh!
Dang!
Okay.
Well, as Adam would say, there's your problem.
Did we get insurance on this truck? Anyone?
All right, I know we didn't get bifurcation, but crashing that boat into the channel marker, that was cool.
I mean, we have a picture, we have a police report, and we know this kind of damage is possible.
Even at 45 miles per hour, we couldn't get that kind of damage.
So unlike the boat, this one's busted?
Busted.
Busted.
On this episode of MythBusters, it's a dog's life. The team is on the trail of 3 canine conundrums.
It's a dog-eat-convict world out there.
First up, it's Prison Break, MythBusters style, as Adam and Jamie sniff out whether you can beat the Bloodhound.
Man, that's incredible.
Then Carrie, Grant, and Tori test mythical techniques to sneak past a guard dog.
Oh my God, this is not working. This is not working. This is not working.
Mush.
Finally, Adam and Jamie test the proverb that you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Sit.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
Is everybody ready for diving?
and Jamie Heineman.
Gets me all worked up just looking at it.
That was beautiful.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
That was heavy.
Joining them, Grant Imahara.
Are you feeling lucky, punk?
Tori Belleci.
Somebody order some exploding pants.
And Carrie Byron.
High explosives and electricity. Woo!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Have you heard the one about the Dyslexic Philosophers Convention?
No.
The topic of discussion is there a dog?
What are you going on about?
It's time. We're doing an all dogs MythBusters dog special. We have been inundated with myths from the fans and on the website, and now it's time to put them into a show.
Okay, it sounds like fun.
Yeah. Okay, here's what I see. It's another in a long line of adages, like, Rolling Stone gathers no moss and finding a needle in a haystack. We should test the myth that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You ready, old dog? Let's go.
Man's best friend. They're smart, they're talented, and crucially, they're quick to pick up new tricks. But the question is, are our canine companions learning days behind them when they reach old age?
What's that you say? What's the plan? Excellent question. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think we bring in a couple of dogs and we see if we can teach them some tricks.
Well, they got to be old dogs, because after all, that's what this is about. Maybe we can each take one, we'll train them separately.
They should be also as close in age as possible. I mean, preferably they're from the same litter, couple of brothers, brother and sister, something like that.
And we can do some kind of, like, a dog show. What do you think?
A MythBusters dog show at the end? That's perfect. Let's do it.
And just as perfect are these beautiful old dogs, Bobo and Cece, an untrained 7-year-old brother and sister pair.
Bobo and Cece appear to be Alaskan Malamutes. Now, this breed is notoriously difficult to train. They're headstrong. So, if we can train these old dogs, this being the worst case scenario, we should be able to train any old dogs. Mush.
Adam and Jamie have just 1 week to get these homeless fur balls pulling in the right direction. So they're going to need some expert help. Adam and Cece have enlisted dog trainer Beverly Ulbrich.
So what we've got is somewhat of a contest between Jamie and I, and what I need your help with is to get Cece here to learn how to heel, sit, stay, down, and shake hands all in the next week. Can we do that?
I sure hope so. Let's give it a shot.
Bling bling here.
With her shiny new training collar, Cece is ready for lesson number 1, heeling.
So the idea with the walk is you want the dog paying attention to you, not everything else around you. If you think about like how a pack travels, there's one pack leader and the rest of the dogs are behind it just following naturally and easily. And obviously right now she's trying to be that pack leader.
Beverly's theory about dog training is to let them know you're the pack leader. So it's all about conditioning the dog both positively and negatively in ways that the pack leader would do. You give them affection when they do right, you give them a scruff on the neck, just like the pack leader would do when they do wrong. And as long as you repeatedly do that, and you do that exactly when they're doing stuff right and exactly when they're doing stuff wrong, they'll become much more manageable, because they all want to be part of a team.
That's the theory. And for old dog Cece, it seems to be working. Already, she's surprisingly well-heeled, which begs the question,
how old is old when it comes to dogs?
Well, how old is old when it comes to people? It's pretty subjective. However, the best estimates that the vet has is that Bobo and Cece were born about 7 years ago, which in human terms, for their size, makes them approximately 50 years old.
That'd be about in the butter zone for our test.
Indeed.
Outside and school starting for old dogs Jamie and Bobo. And head teach Gene Donaldson from the SPCA confirms we're starting from scratch.
you sit? Yes, he probably has never been taught. He's looking at him, mates will be saying it in Swahili. He has no clue.
Undaunted, Jamie and Jean get classes started. And at this dog school, the curriculum is slightly different.
Jean's technique is influenced by Pavlov, Skinner, even Darwin. We could talk about it in terms of operant conditioning and other things, but it boils down to that if the dog's behavior is good, you reward it. If it's bad, you ignore it.
So I've got leverage in my hand, and at the moment, he's not going to give me a full down, but I got to pay something. This is called shaping by successive approximation. So I'm waiting for that right front leg. As soon as he crosses it, I'm going to pay him. Waiting for the leg. There's the leg.
With Bobo getting down and Cece also responding well to the first day's lessons, doesn't that mean this myth is already busted?
I think the myth is looking pretty bad at this point. The real test will come, I think, with the handshake. I think all the other stuff, heel, sit, stay, those are your pack commands, you know, just getting the dog to understand your words for what it naturally wants to do. But shaking hands, that doesn't happen in the wild. I think that's really going to be where the rubber meets the road and whether or not these dogs can learn a real trick.
Our next myth could get you ripped limb from limb.
Cool. What is it?
We're going to the dogs. It's time to test mythical ways to get past the guard dog.
Oh, cool, like throwing them a big juicy steak.
We have a whole list of ideas for trying to get past guard dogs.
Man, this sounds dangerous.
All right, we're in.
When it comes to breaking and entering, the MythBusters are, unsurprisingly, experts. Their criminal record includes safe cracking, climbing air ducts, and beating laser beam alarms.
All right, let's get out of here before the cops come.
But today, they're filling the gap in their criminal CV by testing mythical methods to bypass a guard dog.
Okay, guys, what's the plan?
I think the first step is obvious. We need to get ourselves a dog, and I don't want to use just vicious pets. I want to go find a guard dog training school and get a real guard dog.
This is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, as long as we don't get bitten.
Yeah.
The researchers have found just the place to get this myth off the ground. Whitmer Tyson Kennels, where police and guard dogs go to school. And in case you're wondering who let the dog out, Mike the handler did.
This is Ewan. He's a 5-year-old German Shepherd. And what we can do is we can give you a demonstration on how he stops people. One of our main trainers here is Jim. He's going to play the bad guy, and he's going to try and escape.
Wow. Jim manages just a few paces before Ewan is on him in a flash of fur and teeth. And it's only that specially designed protective suit that prevents him from being the dog's dinner. So, who's going to be dessert?
Oh, anybody want to try it?
Yeah, Tori volunteers.
Grant works on the principle that although there's no I in team, there is a me.
Dang! This is getting scary.
And Tori is once again in the firing line.
Whoa! Hey! Good boy! Good boy! Whoa! This dog's got some bite! Oh yeah, I can feel the pressure on my arm.
Oh. Yeah, you got the big suit on, it's gonna protect you, but man, you see that dog barreling down on you with his teeth exposed and it's growling, and then it takes a bite on you. It's pretty scary. And then there's a couple of points where he got his teeth around my arm and I could feel the pressure bite down on my arm. There was, you know, it wasn't, the teeth weren't piercing into my skin or anything, but you could definitely feel the pressure.
So that's Ewan the guard dog. Fast, focused, and furious. And the team now know what the myth is up against.
Oh, that pinched the skin!
Looks like we got ourselves a good guard dog. Ewan is vicious.
Yeah, that dog was biting with over 550 pounds of pressure.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that biting on my leg. So what kind of mythical techniques do we have to get past him?
We have distracting them with a big juicy steak. We have acting aggressive, acting submissive. We also have wolf urine. We have scent of a lactating bitch.
What?
It's supposed to calm them down. We also have urine from a bitch in heat, which is obviously supposed to distract them.
Well, he is a male dog.
Well, we can't forget the enclosure that we're supposed to build to do our experiments.
Well, let's keep that simple. We'll close off an area with the chain link fence. We'll put a safe in the middle, put treasure in it, and then we'll try our different techniques, see if we can get to the safe, get the treasure, and get out safely.
Carrie, Grant, and Tori are attempting to beat Ewan, the well-trained guard dog. They're going to test several techniques to sneak past the four-legged guardian, get into the safe in the center of the compound, and then escape safely with the loot.
So the first tactic I'm going to utilize is diversion. I've got some stakes. I'm going to chuck it in one side of the yard, and then I'm going to try to make a run for it.
I see, and that's supposed to draw the dog's attention away from you.
Always works in the cartoons.
Good luck with that.
Carrie gets into the dog-proof safety suit and then gives it a test run. With Carrie about as mobile as a dog's chew toy, she adapts her heist plan.
I'm not going to be able to throw anything with this. I'm going to get one of the boys to go over to the corner and throw it. That's not cheating. Everybody's got a partner in crime.
Tori gets the plan underway by interesting Ewan in his meaty treat.
Oh, look, he likes.
Oh, you looking at it?
He like. Oh, you like these. You like the meat.
I think you guys should probably go for it now, no?
Tori's tasty T-bone taunting has bought Carrie enough time to get to the safe. But then, Carrie's accomplice turns nasty as Tori throws the steak into the compound.
Not at me! Not at me!
It's a poor throw, but Ewan stays focused on the meat and starts to chow down as Carrie heads for an unofficial exit on the far side of the compound. But it's locked.
Hurry, he's eating the meat!
Meanwhile, Ewan has finished the first course and goes back to Tori for more. But when Tori doesn't have another steak ready, Ewan goes to work.
Move. Oh. Okay. Get him.
Oh, that was great! It totally worked!
Well, kinda. The delicious diversion did distract Ewan long enough to get to the safe and secure the loot. But poor planning meant that Carrie ended up as the main course.
But the necklace is somewhere inside the suit. I swear it's in here. I grabbed it.
So it's plausible to distract a guard dog with tasty treats. But without that suit, Carrie would have been breakfast.
Well done.
Next up, Grant and Tori are tackling two myths which an animal behaviorist and fan of the show suggested. And they're both based on the concept that by using body language, you can persuade the dog to leave you alone. First into the ring is Grant, and the theory is Ewan will take Grant's submissive posture as proof he's not a threat.
Oh my God, this is not working. This is not working. This is not working.
I don't think it's working.
But it doesn't work. Next, Tori attempts to take alpha dog status by getting aggressive. But his top dog impression simply results in him being the dog's lunch. With the score MythBusters 1, Guard Dog 2, it's back to Adam and Jamie.
So how old is the phrase, "you can't teach an old dog new tricks"?
Well, it's pretty old. It originated from some guy named Fitzherbert who wrote a paper on animal husbandry in 1523.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. The dogge must learn it when he is a whelpe, or else it will not be, for it is hard to make an olde dogge to stoop.
Like I said, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
It's an age-old adage, and the MythBusters can't resist putting it to the test. On day one, the training went so well, the myth looked busted.
Sit. Good girl.
But in today's session, without pack leaders Beverly and Jean to show them who's boss,
Cece, sit.
well, the dog's personalities are proving obstructive.
We're a little too excited this morning.
Bubba's a brat. First of all, I don't think he's as smart as CC. I can see it in his eyes. He's a little like... Yeah, you cut that with a shot of him, you'll see it looks the same. Cece is a very shy dog. She is submissive, used to being submissive, and it's very easy for her to just shut down entirely.
Oh.
Clearly, Adam and Jamie need help from the professionals.
What I'm seeing here that might be happening is she might be a little more intimidated by you. A lot of times a dog, especially if she's a female dog, she may be more intimidated by males, either just by nature or because whatever men she's been with in her life have been a little rough on her, are firm with her, such that she's feeling that way.
But a session or two with confidence-inspiring Beverly and timid Cece is responding not only to the expert.
Gonna sit. Good baby.
Good girl.
She's listening to Adam.
Down.
There you go. Good down.
Girl.
Good down. Now she's really engaging. This is great.
Outside, Gene has Bobo the brat focused, and he's flying through all his lessons. And Jamie's not doing so bad either.
Nice job. I tell you, I've seen a million genius dogs go nowhere because of crappy training.
With 4 days of training complete, our elderly Alaskan Malamutes have come a long way.
Yes, I could give him it. That's it.
boy.
Good.
But the proof will come in the final exam when Adam and Cece go head-to-head with Jamie and Bobo in a show dog showdown.
Bobo, you gotta behave or we're gonna make you into a coat.
Adam and Jamie are competing in the MythBusters Best in Show dog trial. They've gone head-to-head to see whether it's really impossible to teach an old dog new tricks.
This is their final exam. We have set up a little dog show place here. We have a scorecard. We have 5 tricks that we've taught them. We're gonna see how well they did.
With Myth-Turn Jess in position as judge and jury, everyone and every dog is ready.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Old Dog New Trick final exam. Adam and Cece, you're up first. Let's start with the heel.
Good girl.
With Cece in good position alongside Adam and not pulling on the lead, Judge Jess hands out full marks.
Nice work, Adam.
And that's the story of Cece's day.
Sit. Good girl.
She obediently follows all of Adam's commands.
Down. Good down. Good down. Back up. Okay, shake. Good shake. Very good.
Proving that in just 1 week,
stay.
She's learned all 5 of the new tricks.
Okay, need it. Good girl. Very good girl.
The pressure's on. Jamie hates losing. He'll be determined to match Adam's faultless performance.
Down. Down. Okay, shake. Good boy.
Bobo succeeds in all of the tasks to Judge Jess's satisfaction.
Bobo, stay. Stay.
Until the stay. Maybe Jamie's fur coat threat backfired.
Here, you stay there.
Bobo wouldn't hold for the required 20 seconds, but Judge Jess has generously given him a half point for his efforts.
9.5 out of 10 ain't bad at all. So, seems to me that you can, in fact, teach an old dog new tricks.
I agree. This one is totally busted. And one of the more cuddly myths we've ever done.
With old dogs busted, Adam and Jamie have sniffed out another mutt myth.
So, can you clearly communicate what clever canine conundrum you're currently concocting?
What?
What's the myth?
Bloodhounds.
What about them?
We're going to test whether you can trick bloodhounds like they show in the movies.
You and I get to play fugitives?
Something like that.
Oh, cool!
Bloodhounds are the ultimate canine super sleuths. Used for police work all over the world, their capacity for sniffing out a human trail is legendary. And where there's legend, there's myth. Flick on a fugitive film, and you'll likely see bloodhounds being baffled with ease. But is this really true?
So what's the plan with this one?
Well, we got to get a trained bloodhound.
All right, and then I guess we just run them through the paces of things we'd seen them get tricked by in the movies. Backtracking, running in a river, changing your scent?
Yeah.
All right, well, which one of us should be the runner?
Well, something tells me that you'd be better at laying down a scent trail than I would.
Okay. I'm going to say yes just because I want to do it. Let's get straight into this.
Straight into it? Sure.
Can you guess what my role is today? I am the chasee. And I'm going to go over there and try every trick in the book to throw these dogs off my trail. We're going to see what works and what doesn't.
Prison breaky Adam's all suited up to be the fugitive. And here's what he's facing.
This is Morgan. He's a 2.5-year-old bloodhound, and he currently works with the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit in San Mateo.
Morgan, handler Matt, and Jamie are going to need all their tracking experience because there's 6 myths that they're up against. Sourced from the movies and fan emails, each one will supposedly confuse and confound the trailing hound. Looking more like an extra in a George Clooney movie, it's nearly time to say, "Oh, Adam, where art thou?" But first, the plan.
Now the dog and his owner are just over there, so I'm going to have to whisper the next test because they don't know what this is. This next test, I am going to be zigzagging, I'm going to be doubling back on my trail, and I'm going to finish off with a lovely climbing of a tree.
Whoa, so let the games begin. Adam has 5 minutes to get as far away as he possibly can from Morgan, the human-seeking missile.
Okay, that was a zigzag.
Adam, looking like a recently escaped Benny Hill character, lays down as many zigs, zags, and doublebacks as he can before scampering up a tree.
Hello, team. This is Convict 1. I'm hidden.
Which means it's time to release the hound. And Matt's first move is to show Morgan what the search and rescue community know as the scent article.
Smell.
Get him. In actual fact, it's one of Adam's unwashed t-shirts. To get an understanding of exactly how Morgan can find Adam from sniffing his dirty laundry, let's go to a graphic. The scent a bloodhound detects are the millions of skin cells we're constantly shedding. These minute particles carry a person's unique scent signature. They rub off on anything we come into contact with, and we leave a trail of them wherever we go. Adam may as well have left signposts, because what's immediately striking is the pace at which Morgan works. Matt and Jamie, not to mention the unfit crew, are at full pace trying to keep up.
Where is he?
I'm sensing maybe Adam did a little doubling back.
Jamie's on the right track, but it's Morgan's nose that got him there. And pretty soon our police pooch is barking up the right tree.
That's a good boy, where'd he go? That's a good boy, where is he? Good boy.
So that's myth number 1 busted, and Adam is on his way back to prison, although he doesn't seem all that upset.
I just want to say, if this looks like fun, it's twice as much fun as it looks like. This is like, wow, who hasn't wanted to try this?
Put a puppy in a hat and get it to yodel, and it's no wonder that dogs are a man's best friend. But as Carrie, Tori, and Grant are finding out, that's not always the case. They're testing mythical ways to beat a vicious guard dog. Distraction by dinner proved successful, but changing their behavior was a dog's breakfast.
So the next thing we're going to move on to?
Scents.
Scents.
Makes
Makes sense.
Oh, so the team are going to test 3 theories from the fan site. With a spritz of the scent of a lactating dog mother, Ewan will be a puppy in Grant's hands. Carrie will douse herself in wolf urine to intimidate him. And a hint of scent of a hot lady dog, and our alpha male will be distracted enough for Tori to slip by unnoticed. First up is Grant with Ode to Dog Mother.
What's the theory behind this?
Well, the lactating mother smell, they secrete a pheromone that makes the puppies feel more at ease. It calms them down.
So this is supposed to calm the guard dog down?
Yeah.
Grant and his pheromones enter the compound, but Ewan is no one's puppy.
It's not working.
It's not working.
That's another one busted. What's next, Carrie?
Now, this is a myth that quite a few people believe, so I'm really interested to see if it's true, see if it works. Wolf urine. Now, urine is a big communicator in the canine world, as I'm sure you've seen dogs marking their territory everywhere. Imagine a wolf marks its territory where a smaller dog is.
Basically, with a splash of stinky wolf wee, fresh from the internet, where else do you get it? Carrie's trying to intimidate E1 by smelling like the big bad wolf. And at this point, you can feel lucky you're on the other side of the screen.
That's strong.
But will our guard dog be scared off?
Oh, wait.
Oh, it's working! Yeah!
Oh, no.
Instead of immediately taking a piece of Carrie, E1 hesitated. But in the end, he wasn't fooled by Carrie in the wolf's urine-soaked clothing.
If you would take a bath in wolf pee, you might survive being attacked by a guard dog.
But I would definitely say plausible because there was serious hesitation there.
Next, and the guys are going to try and distract E1 with Oh Da Hot Lady Dog.
This is fresh from the kennel, bitch in heat urine.
Tasty. But what's the plan?
The theory is that that scent will attract him. He'll think that there's a female dog present and he'll want to go get nasty. And then I will sneak by him while he's looking for that female.
Carrie wafts the tempting odor under the guard dog's nose.
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly, E1 has his mind on another job.
Come on, big boy. Come over here. You smell that?
He's definitely interested. And Carrie ups the stakes with a urine-soaked rag and a little trail of scent along the fence line. Tori tippy-toes inside, and incredibly, the plan appears to be working. E1, oblivious to the intruder, is simply thinking hot lady dog thoughts.
Look at the drool coming off of that dog. Those chops are soaked.
I can't believe it. We just did bitch and heat, and it worked. The dog was totally distracted. He had his face down in the urine the whole time. Every once in a while, he would look up, check me out, see what I was doing, but then he would go back to the urine. I just slowly walked over to the safe, got the jewels, and slowly walked out. I mean, he didn't even act like he was gonna try to attack me. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah! Yeah!
It worked!
Bitch and heat. Give it up. Nice.
While Tori shakes his booty after securing the booty, the final results for beating the guard dog are in. But this shaggy dog story ain't over yet. Many MythBusters moons ago, in the story of the salsa escape, Adam proved that he's a dab hand at literally breaking out of prison.
And I escaped!
But now the team is testing the myth that on the resulting manhunt,
yeah, zigzagging didn't work at all.
The Bloodhounds can be foiled with a few fiendish tricks. Adam's next escape attempt uses a classic filmic fable. It's the old cross a river to trick a dog technique.
So, gentlemen, this is like a game of hide and seek to space the tree. Jimmy, let me know every minute you know that I'm gone, up to 5 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
I'm trying not to look at dogs, see where I'm going.
Okay. Look at the tree, bro.
And he's off. With a 5-minute head start, Adam attempts to lose his pursuers with multiple river crossings. And just like the movies, he makes his way up one stream for at least 100 feet before getting back to dry land. But did his tactic wash away the trail? At the first watery obstacle, the evidence is no.
Oh, great.
Because Morgan doesn't even pause. He's following and finding Adam like he has a homing device.
That's a good boys! That's a good boy!
No way!
That's impossible! What a good boys you are!
Dude! That didn't take, it took you less time than the first 2 tests.
You're just a stinky guy. What can I say?
I guess all the sweat from running equals, you know, a bunch of fear pheromones or something. Man, that's incredible. It's a dog-eat-convict world out there.
At this point, the water doesn't look like a terribly good thing to try and use because from what we've learned about talking with these guys and what we just saw, Water actually likes the scent. The scent is, you know, kind of hydrophilic, apparently. It likes to collect in low areas, like where the water is. Water's no guarantee that the scent's going to go away.
Incredibly, that's true. As long as the water is slow-moving or still, it has the potential to retain the trail better than dry land. So the myth that water will foil a bloodhound doesn't hold any water. Quite simply, Morgan is just too nosy.
Let's pause for a minute and consider the amazing olfactory capabilities of the bloodhound. For comparison, a human's olfactory center is about the size of a postage stamp, whereas a bloodhound's is about the size of a handkerchief. This difference gives a bloodhound almost 1,000 times the smelling capabilities of a human.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Adam is once again on the run. Maybe he escaped before he had a chance to use the prison gym. Seeing as he won't be able to outrun Jamie and the Bloodhound gang, he once again uses film folklore. In Cool Hand Luke, hero Paul Newman conjures up a cloud of peppery spices that, when inhaled, supposedly blind the dog's noses. Could this be the method that messes up Morgan?
This time I used MythBusters brand ground pepper. I had a confidant of mine stash it in this barn where I knew it would be. And I sprinkled it all over the floor of the whole barn, and then I jumped out the window. And the theory, this is right from the movies, is that the dog smells pepper. Can't smell human smell anymore.
With his trail trap of nasal disaster set, Adam hunkers down in his hidey hole. And Morgan and his team of human handlers, ignoring the spectacular scenery, soon arrive at the barn.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Couldn't be in there.
Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Where'd he go?
But after a couple of circuits and no sneezing, Morgan finds the trail leading away from the shed and right to a very busted Adam.
You found me.
Despite the peppery problem, Morgan once again gets his man.
Well, I think we've proved that it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it didn't hurt Morgan. So what's next?
I got another one up my sleeve, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I can't wait.
Carrie, Grant, and Tori have beaten the guard dog.
Bitch and heat! Give it up! Nice!
And being bitten by the guard dog.
You know what? The most obvious one, using a stake, actually beat the guard dog. And the bitch and heat scent, that one worked as well.
And you know, I really feel that if you were covered head to toe in the wolf urine, we would have gotten a better result.
If you could stand it. But after watching all of these techniques, I think that we could ramp this one up MythBuster style.
We're gonna build our own technique to beat the guard dog?
Yeah, and I've already got some great ideas.
With the myths tested, the team has a challenge. Can they build something that would let them sneak past a whole pack of guard dogs?
Okay, it'll attach to itself, so once we get going, I think it'll be good.
Carrie, after 2 days of hard work, has built what can only be described as a human hamster ball. Meanwhile, Grant has gone high-tech. He's mounting his battle bot with a taxidermy tabby. To make it more lifelike, Dr. Franken-Grant is using a little robotic wizardry.
He's alive! Alive!
And Tori, well, he's scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Well, I'm done. And really, it speaks for itself.
Back at the enclosure, Grant is first up.
I think initially the dog will be somewhat confused by RoboCat, as most people are, but that primal instinct of chasing the cat, or the furry shape that is in cat form, will kick in, and that will, it won't be able to resist going after it. And that is the moment when I'll send Tori in, and he'll get the jewels. I feel it. Or the dog will bite his jewels, which will also be funny. Okay, go ahead and release the dog.
E1 is released, and that age-old cat and dog story begins. Cat runs away from dog, dog chases robotically controlled dead cat. It's a perfect cat burglar plan, until one little misstep by remote control kingpin Grant means accomplice Tori is brunch.
Run!
Run. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to run with an 80-pound dog using you as a chew toy.
Dude.
I don't think it's working, Grant. I don't know. Just a guess.
He
Dude,
had him.
Oh, yeah. Good driving, kitty.
I don't think you know. This is not your fun time to play with your little cat. There's a dog on my arm.
So that's one zip to E1, the guard dog. Tori's next, and he's brought his armored tin can.
As you could tell, I watched a lot of A-Team growing up, and I think that's kind of where I came up with this guy.
It might be a barrel of laughs and Tori, but for this test, he isn't wearing the safety suit, so there's a real element of danger.
Okay, here it comes.
Coming at you, but doesn't know what to do.
It's all going according to plan, but there are a few scary moments.
How's it going in there?
But Tori manages to inch his way over to the safe safely and secure the loot.
I got it.
Yeah!
It's during Tori's slow crawl home that E1 works out by gripping the wheel, he can get more leverage.
Out! Here!
And Mike the handler calls it off before Tori gets injured by E1's 550-pound bite force.
I got it!
No, you didn't.
Man, you threw the towel in too soon. I was robbed. I could have been a contender.
While Tori tells us about the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, E1 the champ is warming up for round 3 with Carrie, the human hamster.
Dog is in.
I see the dog.
He doesn't even see you.
E1 looks confused.
He's checking you out, but apparently
he doesn't even see her.
You are invisible. Is that the ball of invisibility?
But it's not long before he works out a high-tech human hamster is trying to sneak across his yard, and he starts tearing into Carrie's ball.
Biting at the plastic.
Carrie had built the hamster ball with an easy access hatch, but it's just too dangerous for her to use it and expose her unprotected arm. So she has to cut a smaller hole instead, and sure enough, she gets the goods.
Got the necklace.
She got it.
Okay, I beat you, mutt. I'm getting out of here.
Back at the door, the deadly defect in Carrie's plan becomes evident.
The major flaw in my plan is that the dog will not stop tacking long enough for me to get out the door.
That is a problem.
It's not a problem for her willing teammates who happily relieve her of the loot.
Pass us the jewels.
Can you get the door? Nice.
Okay.
All right,
bye.
good luck. You're
Thanks.
on your own. Nice work.
Nice. Sweet.
Tori and Grant happily make off with the loot. But with Carrie failing to escape, that's 3 to E1 and a big fat 0 to the MythBusters.
You know, guys, I think this could work if we worked in conjunction with each other.
Well, it looks like our techniques for beating the guard dog had a few design flaws.
Like trying to get out of the hamster ball?
You know, I thought my barrel was gonna work, but looked like the dog had figured out a way to tip it over.
And he wasn't fooled at all by RoboCat's lifelike appearance.
Yeah, I know I was.
Well, I think people totally underestimate these dogs. They're really well trained.
Yeah, Mike was saying that you can actually train these dogs to ignore things. So I bet if we did this test again, they wouldn't even look twice at that steak.
All I know is that I don't want to be anywhere near these dogs without the bite suit. They're vicious.
Well, taking that and all of our techniques into account, what do you guys want to call this one?
I think we have to call this one plausible.
Yeah, I agree, because we can distract the dogs, but you don't know how long they're gonna stay distracted. It's just too risky.
And crime doesn't pay.
Adam is 3 down against Morgan, the world's most sensitive sniffer. But that's no surprise, because his hooter has over 1,000 years of breeding behind it.
You found me.
Let's talk about the origin of the Bloodhound.
Okay. Well, we have citations referring to sleuth hounds hunting men as early as the 13th century.
Yeah, but back then, noblemen mainly used them for hunting deer or boar.
And it is commonly believed that the breed was refined and originated at the St. Hubert Monastery in Belgium in the 11th century.
Huh.
What's next is washing off and changing my clothes. We have a secret location about 2 minutes from here. We've got a wash basin and a whole new set of clothes for me. I'm gonna find it, wash myself off, change my clothes, take off in a different direction. We'll see if that fools the dog. I have no doubt he can find my wash basin. The question is, can he follow me from there?
As predicted, Morgan finds the wash location.
Oh, what a good boy. That's a good boy. Where'd he go?
But for the first time, our intrepid trackers are stumped. But it's not because Adam has washed his scent off, it's because there's too much of it.
I'm guessing he took a shower. This just might be a lot of scent. I don't know if we're having trouble getting out of it or what.
Adam's odor is overwhelming because of all the water and the amount of time he spent there.
I know, where is he?
Matt realizes this and works Morgan over the area looking for the exit point. Meanwhile, Adam, with some time on his hands, relaxes. But Morgan remains focused. In fact, the Bloodhound is famous for being patient and stubborn, characteristics that have been selected for just this purpose.
What a good boy you
Spoiled again.
What a good boy you are.
Nice suit.
Thank you. Whoa, what the well-dressed escapee is wearing this year?
Morgan did really well on the test overall. It looked like we had a little bit of a problem at the shed, but actually, in reality, the thing I liked about it is Morgan never gave up. If you can see on the tape, he's always looking for the scent. He's always searching for it. And the two trails that went in and went out were actually, I think, from the way he worked, really close together. So he just kept working until he found the way out. Once he found the way out, he nailed it.
How many more tricks do you have up your sleeve?
I have exactly 2 left.
Well, good luck, buddy.
Thanks. Everybody knows from the movies that coffee is supposed to mask, like, shipped drugs. It's supposed to mask the smell from sniffing dogs. And it is a very strong scent. And so I guess the theory is that it will overpower the dog's olfactory abilities and he can't start to pick up my scent. And the cologne, again, is also, something that we're hoping will overpower my odor and throw him off the trail.
Did you smell that?
Even I can smell that one.
Unlike the spicy pepper experiment, which was designed to blind the dog's sense of smell, this coffee and cologne test is all about masking Adam's odor and confusing poor old Morgan.
No! No! Good boy.
He smelled like a cheap date, but, at the end of it all, unless you're a cheap date trying to escape, this isn't going to help you out because Morgan found him right away.
I suppose the secret's out about what this test is about.
Yeah, this is just downright mean.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is a hard one.
Yeah, for us this is hard. Some people, not hard. For us, this is hard.
The urban environment theory is that it makes it harder for the dog to find me for 2 reasons. One is that the area is heavily trafficked by other people. The other is that it's harder for him to smell my scent on pavement.
Adam has laid down a 6-block urban maze of a trail. The ultimate test for a bloodhound.
Good boy. Smell. Get him.
Straight away, it's apparent that Morgan is a little distracted by all the interesting big city smells.
Leave it. Let's go. Where'd he go? Leave it. Let's go. Get to work.
Too much stuff going on here.
Matt, realizing Morgan has lost his focus and the trail,
leave it. Let's go. Get to work.
Brings him back to the start in an effort to pick up on the scent again.
smell. Get him. Let's go.
The team have clearly followed a different route to Adam, but after 90 minutes of false leads, they finally find their furtive fugitive.
It's a good boy.
An incredible find, but as Adam points out, there was an element of luck involved.
Well, I'm amazed that you found me because I didn't go that way. I came that way. I came through a car park, and in fact, I even left a couple of scent pools for you. I got down on the ground and grinded around, give you a little gimme, and then I came through an alley back there and came this way. I wouldn't chalk this up to sheer luck, but I wouldn't call it 100% find either. I'd say it's somewhere in between, and Morgan's still a young dog, still work in progress, still learning what he's doing, and this is, without a doubt, the most difficult environment for him to track someone in.
Morgan and I haven't yet concentrated on urban environments. It's just possible that if you did it with a dog with more urban experience, you might get a different result.
It's true, there are plenty of documented cases of bloodhounds successfully following a trail through heavily populated areas. But there's no doubting it's tough.
I don't know about you, but I've had enough running for like 3 myths. I'm gonna change back into civilian clothes and sleep for a couple of days.
All right, let's clear out.
As the team head home after a hard day hunting and being hunted, Jamie decides that the old film industry proverb, "never work with animals," is totally busted.
This has been really a wonderful experience for us because, you know, working with an animal like this that is so amazing. I mean, Morgan was, it's like magic what this dog can do. It's also really impressive to see a man working with a dog. It strikes me as something that's more like an art. This isn't just like a machine that's picking up scents. This is a combination of the man and his relationship with the animal, taking advantage of what the animal can do, picking up those little tiny hints of what's going on and trying to pull it together into, a composition that ends up catching the bad guy. It's really something special.
Let's recap all the ways we tried to beat the Bloodhound. Backtracking, zigzagging, climbing a tree.
Busted.
River crossing.
Busted.
Washing off your smell and changing clothes.
Busted.
Covering your tracks with pepper.
Busted.
Masking your scent with cologne and coffee.
Busted.
And urban environment.
That would be plausible.
He did amazingly.
Yep, a good dog's hard to fool.
Correctamundo.
On this fish-flinging episode of MythBusters, Brian and John build fearsome rigs.
Just a blur of meat.
To test a myth about killer carp.
What this myth is about is an unlucky water skier who gets hit by a 2-pound fish.
Here we go!
Square in the chops. Boom! Oh! What we want to know is, would that collision be fatal?
3, 2, 1!
Oh! And it's time to get your metal face on.
This is a pretty interesting myth.
What music that is, my goodness.
It's whether listening to aggressive music while driving
I wish I knew the lyrics so I could sing along to this.
Makes you an aggressive driver.
I want to run the puppy over, but I'm not.
Who wants to run over a puppy?
First up, the story of a water sports carp-tastrophe. Picture the scene. The sun is out, the lake placid, and a group of friends head out water skiing. The skier is skimming along at 25 miles an hour when suddenly the lake's surface erupts. Silver carp are flinging themselves from the water. Unable to dodge the bombardment, the hapless skier catches a 2-pound fish right in the kisser. Question is, would this be a mortal mishap? The MythBusters have tackled up to investigate this fishy tale of killer carp. But will they hook a whopper?
Well, this one's really about the fish that got away.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone released the silver carp into our ecosystem, and they're wreaking havoc.
Yeah, not just for the environment, but for boaters everywhere.
And water skiers.
Can you imagine you're skiing along and then boom, 2-pound fish hits you in the face? That could do some serious damage.
Yeah, I can't really imagine it, but I think we should test it.
Absolutely.
Shouldn't you have, like, line on that rod?
Nah, man, catch and release.
These are the killer carp in question, an invasive Asian species. Many fish leap out of the water to evade predators, but Asian carp also get spooked by passing boats. And boy, can they jump. Leaps of up to 10 feet have been recorded, and they're present in such vast numbers in the Illinois River, they're considered a hazard to water traffic.
Oh, wow.
What is it, like 20, 30 fish jumping out at a time?
I think that's an underestimate. That looks like 40 or 50 at some time.
It would seem almost impossible to water ski without being hit by one at least.
You can certainly see where this myth comes from.
Yeah, and to get us started, we know that we have a water skier who's going 25 miles an hour. He gets hit in the face by a 2-pound carp and it snaps his neck.
Yeah, but if you watch carefully, these carp are coming out not straight up, but at an angle. So it's a little more than 25 miles per hour.
Well, then we should watch these videos and see if we can calculate how fast these fish are actually shooting out of the water.
To do this, the guys pick a flying fish.
Oh, that one.
Perfect.
Measure how far it leaps on screen.
It's our height reference for distance.
And scale this up to get a real-world distance. Then they use the fixed frame rate of the video to work out the horizontal velocity of the leaping fish.
We've analyzed our fish video frame by frame, and what we're seeing is by the time those carp get up to head height, it's about 10 miles per hour worth of additional impact. So we're gonna take that 25 miles per hour of our skier, add it to the 10 miles per hour of the fish, and that's a 35 mile per hour carp to the face.
John's next job is to design a rig to fire a 2-pound carp at this impact velocity.
We have 4 pieces of rail to which a rolling carp cart will fit into. Attach bungees from the frame to the cart, drop a fish in, pull it back, and bam! Bob's your uncle. Until he got into that horrible water skiing accident.
To match the environmental conditions described in the myth as closely as possible, the guys will conduct final testing out on the water, mounting the carp catapult on the back of a boat and firing it at a water skiing target.
This is our water skier. Well, most of them, obviously. This is his head. It has a composite. It's the same density and strength as bone, and it's made by a company that specializes in that. It's got a full spine, anatomically correct, with all 7 cervical spine, intervertebral discs that are actually flexible. Inside that is a spinal cord made from a glow stick. So if he gets injury, it's gonna show us right away. Tendons, ligaments, and muscles, that way he can hold up his own head just like a real human. It's gonna mount on that body, nice and strong, and have fish flung at it.
So after Buster takes a fish to the face, an examination of his anatomically correct spine should reveal if any injury is fatal.
Hey, you wanna be hit by fish? He's ready for the test.
This is the boat we'll be mounting our fish flinging rig to. Nice, isn't it? And from here, it gives us the perfect vantage point at shooting water skiing Buster that'll be towing behind this boat. I hope he likes sushi, delivered directly to the face. Yeah, that'll work fine.
But before the fish flinging begins, it's time for some rock and roll research into a myth about highway headbangers. Sure, a moshing motorist looks hostile, but can their aggressive music actually cause them to drive more aggressively? The MythBusters investigate if rock and roll road rage is a bona fide condition or a rocker-phobic work of fiction.
So, Doc, Can the music you choose really affect your state of mind and your aggression while driving?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I know you're not driving now, but we should test your vitals against 2 different kinds of music and see if they change.
Good.
Good. All right, cue soft music, please. Okay. Please cue aggressive music. Well, that's interesting.
What's it show you?
When you were listening to the calm music, you were 151/98. But then with the aggressive music, it jumped to 167/104. And your pulse from the calm to the aggressive music went from 76 to 83.
This tells me 2 things.
Yeah?
One, the myth is going to be interesting to explore.
That's true. What's the second one?
Don't quit your day job as a MythBuster, because as a doctor, you kind of suck.
I guess that's fair. But you're the paramedic. Why am I even doing this? To test this myth, we're gonna need a group of unsuspecting volunteers that we can hook to scientific measuring equipment and have them drive through our course once with calm music and then drive through the same course with aggressive music and see if there's any difference.
Will aggro tunes inspire aggro drivers? Before we find out, the guys need to nail down a method to physiologically measure a road rage reaction. And neuroscientist Bill Scott has got just the tool for the job.
Tell us how we find out that the brain is being aggressive.
Typically, when people start getting angry or frustrated, experiencing a lot of negative emotions, the left hemisphere starts to shut off. That's a part of the brain that makes a lot of decisions. And the right hemisphere starts to activate. So what we're going to be looking at is the difference between activation in the left versus the right hemisphere. We're going to be placing sensors that go to an amplifier that amplifies the signals 1,000,000 times. See how the signals are the same in both hemispheres? That's kind of a normal thing. When people are getting more frustrated, we're going to be seeing higher spikes on this left hemisphere, like that.
So if this was while they were driving, that spike means a little bit of road rage?
Yes, more anger is getting induced and frustration at that particular point.
I like it.
Bill has given us a great system that will let us keep track of the aggression levels inside of the driver's heads while they're being exposed to aggressive music. But he also has something called a performance game, which is basically a personality test that lets you know pretty well if you're gonna be prone to road rage. And I'm gonna take it. Did I mention I'm from New York? Is that my brain?
That is your brain.
It did something.
It definitely.
Oh!
Of all the brains, we should have never looked inside John.
Right.
You've opened a door that you now cannot close. The performance game is a way to measure how well I handle my frustration.
There's your first letter.
When an L comes up, I'll hit the left button. When an R comes up, I'll hit the right button. When a P comes up, I'll just pause. Yep. And depending on how well I do or how many mistakes I make, there will be a corresponding bloop spike in my EEG, which is an indicator of how frustrated I'm getting. Ugh.
Oh, man. That was tense.
And on the overall test EEG, John's fiery New York temperament stands out like the Manhattan skyline.
Judging by your result, I guess you're probably one of those who would likely get really frustrated when you drive.
That seems pretty accurate.
Seems right writing to myths with you.
Shut up, Brian!
Next up, Big Tex.
My run through the game was pretty calm and pretty accurate. There wasn't much sign of the left hemisphere spikes that indicate the aggression, which would mean that I'm likely to be a pretty calm driver. And I'm gonna agree with that.
So, the performance test has provided a fair benchmark of both John and Brian's dispositions. And it'll prove a handy tool come myth testing time.
We're gonna have our 5 volunteer drivers play this performance game to see if they have a high frustration personality like me, or a low frustration personality, like the guy who put the Zen and Texan over here.
That way we can compare their driving while listening to passive music to their driving while listening to aggressive music and see if they drive more aggressively.
And if personality type has any bearing on this.
Namaste.
Still to come, John and Brian set up a driving course, which is fiendishly frustrating
My oranges from shopping.
and horn-honkingly annoying.
Get out of the road, Grandma!
To test if raucous rock really can fuel road rage.
Makes me want to drive fast.
And the carp are lubed, locked.
Oh, you hear the winch?
And loaded for a fishy flingathon. John and Brian are on a head-banging, myth-busting mission to discover if listening to angry music makes drivers more prone to road rage. They found the right tech to record the brainwave spikes associated with road rage.
Is that my brain? It did something. Oh!
Now, all they need is a safe place to wire up and test a bunch of volunteer drivers.
Like this. A completely abandoned neighborhood, which we're gonna have as our playground for the next couple of days.
So we can conduct a controlled, safe, and quite frankly, super dope experiment. It's perfect.
The plan is for 5 test drivers to navigate a set course through the abandoned suburb twice. Once listening to calm music, and then again listening to aggressive music. The drivers' levels of road rage will then be compared between the 2 laps.
We figured out what roads we're gonna use. Now we just gotta figure out what obstacles we're gonna put on it to make that little driving experience just a little bit more aggravating. All right, so we're in the tech tent right here, and I think we can just go ahead and start right in front of it.
Oh, okay, we're good.
And they get to here?
This just became a toll road. Oh, man, here you go. I got 35 cents.
I appreciate it. They'll come in and they'll go, and then we'll let them free after 3 times around. They finally get set free to go out that way.
Great.
So they're coming down the road and, oh, this is perfect, a pre-existing stop sign.
Maybe something like an Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, a little extra aggravation?
Yeah.
What is that, platypus crossing?
It could be anything. That's the point.
All right, stuck at the Animal Crossing and then come around this corner. They got a little freedom. And right about here, you gotta have a construction zone.
So instead of narrowing cones where they think they can make it,
but they can't. Get free of that cone going, oh man, I can't believe I hit that cone. Oh! I think stoplight so they can think about the cone they hit. I don't think we can let them get away with that green light though. We're gonna have to put something right behind it. As soon as it's green, still aggravated. Oh no, my oranges. Oh,
you got the driver be like, get out of the road, Grandma!
I'm sorry, sir. Then at this point, I feel kind of bad for them. I think they can go home. Freedom!
You know what, this is pretty good, but there's one thing we don't have that's the most irritating thing every time.
What's that?
Parallel parking.
You're mean and I like it.
So somewhere, let's say, we can do one here.
How's that?
Pack.
Park.
And with this final devilishly frustrating obstacle in place, the course is complete. But before we find out if hell-raising tunes release inner driving demons,
oh, wow!
It's time to hook back into the myth of killer carp. Silver carp are an invasive species, which not only pose a threat to native fauna, but also to water traffic. They have a habit of leaping out of the water when boats pass and can jump as high as 10 feet. Question is, can a leaping 2-pound fish land a fatal blow on an unfortunate water skier? They've calculated the impact velocity of fish meeting face, lined up an anatomically correct water skiing target.
Hey, you want to be hit by fish?
And designed a boat-mounted fish flinger.
Yeah, that'll work fine. Fish delivery. Get your fish here.
Now to stock up on ammo.
I don't think it'd be right if we just bought hundreds of fish to fling at this target, so we're gonna make some. This is my template. I'm gonna saw it out, and then we'll make molds of it. I think my favorite part of working in the shop is model making. I used to do it all the time as a product designer, so doing it now kind of is like taking a trip back home. All right, done. Oh no, it's maybe. This is what you call a block mold. We have our master sculpt of a fish. It goes whoop into the box. We fill the box up with silicone, and then we'll have our mold. The first part we have to do is spray release on it, so when we do put the silicone on, it won't just stick to our master. Done. Oh boy. And now we just wait an hour or two until this sets. Be good. Well, now that we've easily removed the mold jacket from this block mold, I'm going to hopefully easily cut it open with this blade. Cut it. Cutting it in zigzags ensures that when I separate this mold, fill it with silicone, and squeeze it back together, it'll line itself right back up. Now I just have to tear this little stitch out, clean up the inside of this, and we'll be ready to mass produce these fish.
And while the silicone sets in the mold, now it's rig building time.
It's the blacksmith and beard.
Oh, this is so smooth. Our final fish flinging rig is taking shape. Down here, I'll add some arms to attach our bungee cord to that stretches all the way back to the back of this cart, which houses our polycarbonate fish carrier. And we're all ready and all the rig is set up. We will, boom! Need to add a few more welds.
The plan is to progressively increase the power of the fish flinger by adding bungee cords until it hurls the 2-pound analog carp at 35 miles per hour.
Okay.
First, John manually tests the launch power of the carp catapult with 4 cords on each side.
In 3, 2, oh! Woo! Even with just 4 bands on this rig, I was only able to pull it back 2/3 of the way. And that, with all my fingers intact, I would say is a super successful test.
But before the fish begin to fly, the guys need to check an important detail.
We're just gonna put the fish rig on the boat, see how it fits.
Brian's custom built a swivel mount.
Okay, we're almost there.
Looks like weight's coming off.
Yep.
And the fish flinger fits perfectly.
Oh, hello.
Don't point that at me, John. Well, there's only one question now, man. Can it actually shoot a fish?
Introducing our ultra-realistic slingshot test fish. It's exactly 2 pounds on the dot, and it's got all the physical properties, of a real fish.
Well, all but one.
One slippery fish.
The guys start with 5 bungee bands on each side of the catapult. And it's already so powerful, they need a winch to prime it. But how fast will it fling its fishy payload? The high-speed scale will reveal all.
5 bands each side. Fish fling rig test in 3, 2, 1.
It flung a fish, but I don't know if that's 35 miles per hour. We gotta look at the high speed and find out.
All right, so fish moves from here to here in how many frames?
By measuring the time it takes the fish to cross the 4-foot high-speed scale, the guys can calculate just how fast it's traveling.
Everything looks good.
So, does it match the 35-mile-per-hour impact velocity of the mythic carp?
You ready?
Yeah.
15 miles an hour.
Good, only 20 more miles per hour.
But before they refire the rig, they'll need to fix the damage caused by the carp cart.
Look at the stops, man. It hit with enough force to split those boards just into splinters. That's why I'm saying this is insane amount of damage.
And with extra bungee cords needed to fling the fish faster,
that is obscene.
The carp carriage will impact with even more force this time.
We've gone for 40 bands. Hopefully, this is way over the top.
Oh, you hear the winch?
Hold.
Stop. Good. You feel safe?
Yeah.
Good.
We're pulling this thing in 3, 2, 1.
Well, if that didn't go 35 miles an hour, I don't think we can get it to go 35 miles an hour.
The good news is the flying fish actually slightly exceeds 35 miles per hour. But unfortunately, it's not all the fish flingers flung.
The fish is traveling incredibly fast, but the box that's carrying it is also traveling really fast. It exploded out of the cart.
This whole thing's getting destroyed up the front right now. I mean, that's a ton of energy.
So while the rig is calibrated to deliver the correct impact velocity, the flying fittings pose a very real safety hazard.
You know, it's not often working on MythBusters that you can see you may have taken an idea overboard, but I think this time we might have. I'm gonna have to dial this back a bit, and I think I have an idea.
Coming up, forget about the carp catapult.
Charging.
There's a new fish flinger in town. And it's a cannon. And the rock and roll road rage test drivers hit the tarmac.
That guy's a jerk. Jerk.
Brian and John are investigating the myth of rock and roll road rage.
Oh no, no, my oranges.
Get out of the road, Grandma!
I'm sorry, sir.
Can jamming out to aggressive music make drivers more aggressive behind the wheel? 5 unwitting test drivers are about to find out. They've been selected to represent the gamut of the motoring public and will navigate the MythBusters' devilishly frustrating driving course twice.
First, our drivers will do a control lap listening to calm music. Soothing.
After they complete the soothing course, we're gonna swap them over to something a little bit more aggressive. Makes me want to drive fast.
These tests we're doing are individual tests, so each driver gets compared to themselves. One calm music drive to one aggressive music drive.
How are we gonna determine if there's any difference in our drivers between their calm run and their aggro run? Woo! We're gonna look at 3 things. The first one is the time they take to run the course.
15 miles an hour? Who drives at 15 miles an hour? It's ridiculous.
We'll take a faster lap time as indicating a more aggressive drive. The second is a points-based system.
I thought we had 3 ducks. What happened to the last duck?
Kill a duck, get a point.
I may have rolled through that stop sign a little bit too excited there.
Roll through a stop sign, you get a point.
Look at that cone! That cone is right all up in my business.
Hit a cone, and you get a point.
Oh, I felt one.
The more points scored, the more aggressive the drive. The third and most important is gonna be the EEG. What we're gonna look for is those left brain frustration spikes.
Can someone help this old lady? It's a green!
We're gonna count them on each run and compare them so we can determine if there's a difference in frustration.
Having driven the course clockwise on their calm music run,
here we go!
The test subjects will drive the course counterclockwise on their aggressive music run.
I actually quite like this.
So John's completed his aggro music lap.
Done.
But did he drive more aggressively and experience more frustration?
Well, he drove the course faster and incurred more penalty points on his second lap. His EEG also recorded more frustration spikes.
You're gonna bruise the apples!
So, maybe you did have some rock and roll road rage, John?
Well, maybe. But here's the thing. I knew the course, I knew what we were looking for, so really, my results don't count.
And that's why we have the volunteers.
But before the test drivers get behind the wheel, they have a task to complete.
All of our volunteers are gonna go through Bill Scott's performance game. It's gonna give us an individual frustration baseline. We'll then give them the test and see how that data matches up to the test data.
The performance game results show Andrew, Evelyn, and Khalik all have what's known as low frustration traits, meaning these 3 are likely to be calm drivers. Jill sits in the middle of the frustration spectrum, and Gary has high frustration traits. So these 2 are likely to be more prone to road rage. But will any of our drivers experience rock and roll road rage?
It's gonna be awesome.
All they've been told is to navigate the driving course from start to finish.
Let's do it.
It's time to turn on the tunes.
Nice.
This is beautiful.
And hit the road.
And he's off.
This music is horrible.
Hey, Brian.
Brian will follow our drivers to keep track of their progress. The first frustrating obstacles the drivers must negotiate, the toll gate and roundabout.
So go around the roundabout 3 times and I'll let you out over there at that gate.
All right. Nice music they got. Louder than I would want it, but it's nice.
I'm not gonna lie, just observing her driving, she looks chill.
But not everyone's keeping it quite so frosty.
That guy's a jerk. Jerk.
And this is just the calm music.
Next, a natural road hazard, ducks crossing.
Lucky I like ducks.
Although not all our drivers are such animal lovers.
There's a duck down, John.
Boy, I ran over. Oh, okay, got it.
Just around the corner, our drivers must next attempt to reverse parallel park into a tight spot.
This is where I find out that I'm not good at parallel parking. No idea. Oh, am I hitting something? Is that what that feeling is? I hit something. I hit something. I hit something, didn't I? I hit something. Oh.
With repeated cone hits, that's gonna be 9 total cones at the parking.
Yeah, I'd say she's a great New York City parker.
This music really is horrible.
And Gary's day is about to get even worse. Roadworks, featuring an impossible cone chicane.
Oh boy.
We have a solid 11 cones, I believe.
Our drivers must now stop at the traffic lights. And when they go green, watch out for Old Lady Surprise. Surprise! It's actually the MythBusters crew in drag. Oops.
Poor thing. She dropped all of her oranges.
I'd help, but I don't want to.
Okay. I'm gonna just go now.
And back to the beginning.
You did it! Someone should tell her to stop!
So with all 5 drivers over the finish line, here's how they scored.
Remember, these results are only to set a baseline for each driver's aggression and frustration levels. So we can measure if there's any increase when they get back on the course and drive it again, but this time listening to aggressive music.
But they do show something interesting. Jill and Gary had the most and second most frustration spikes.
And of course, the performance game showed us it was those 2 that were most likely prone to road rage.
Will that make a difference when we bring the noise?
We're gonna find out!
Coming up,
Oh, this music.
thrash metal is added to the motoring mix. So will the drivers keep their cool or lose their temper?
Now, why would you do that? Come on!
And meet the carp cannon, a myth-busting tool that's sure to be a blast.
1. Oh!
Can listening to aggressive music make drivers more aggressive behind the wheel? John and Brian have recruited 5 drivers to investigate if there's any truth behind the myth of rock and roll road rage.
Nice music they got.
So far, they've navigated a driving course listening to calm music.
You did it!
For the second test, our volunteers are going to face the same course, but in reverse.
So even though the obstacles may be familiar to the drivers, the layout of the course won't be.
You ready to go again?
Will our volunteers' driving alter and frustration levels rise with a change of tunes? Let's crank it up and find out.
John, you set?
We are locked and loaded.
All right, here we go.
This is more like it.
This is really not my kind of music. What music that is, my goodness.
Looks like he's approaching the construction site cones with a lot of confidence.
This is where they have no choice but to hit some of those cones.
There's these cones again. Who set these up? Obviously don't know how wide this car is.
He's already to the cones, and he's just plowing through. That's 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Yep. He's definitely hit at least 6 cones on the way out.
She's actually quite calm and polite.
Wish I could get out there and help you.
She's sitting there very patiently waiting for this old man to pick up his apples.
Get out the way.
Come on, Gramps.
Oh, this music.
She should be approaching the parallel parking right now. She had a little trouble with that last time.
I feel like I don't fit in this spot.
The first cone and the second cone have been crushed in the parallel parking test.
Hard to tell where the cones are behind me.
I wouldn't call this a fantastic park job, Brian. I really wouldn't.
All right. Now let's get out of here.
And he's hit. One cone flat out from the back, possibly some more in the front, but he's parked.
That'll do, right?
He's flying through this course.
Oh, it's a puppy. Aw.
I want to run the puppy over, but I'm not. I'm not.
Who wants to run over a puppy?
Okay, cool. Now what?
Go 3 times around and I'll let you out of that gate over there.
Okay.
I wish I knew the lyrics so I could sing along to this.
Feeling a little more confident. I think I can take it a little faster. Or maybe it's the music.
I think I'm on the home stretch here now.
With the test complete and tranquility restored,
We can turn that music off.
Thank you.
do our drivers think they suffered from rock and roll road rage on their second lap of the course?
I felt like I was Homer, actually.
I think I was a little bit more aggressive.
This wasn't my kind of music. It's more nerve-wracking. There's too much noise.
And how about the 2 drivers with higher frustration traits? These guys were more frustrated than the others on the calm music lap.
That guy's a jerk. Jerk.
So did angry music amp them up even more?
I was definitely calmer the first one.
I felt pretty hyped.
Pretty hyped.
Yes.
Do you think the music had an effect on it?
Oh yeah, that definitely had an effect on it.
I think it was the music.
So these 2 at least are rock and roll road rage believers.
Come on!
Oh, this music.
But will the test data back them up?
You! So what?
First, it's back to the myth of killer carp. Brian and John are trying to fling a fish at the impact velocity of the carp in the myth.
2, 1.
But their first rig hit a snag.
The fish is traveling incredibly fast, but the box that's carrying it is also traveling really fast. It exploded out of the cart.
It's awesomely powerful, but just too dangerous.
Maybe we should pare it back just a little bit.
Like what?
I'm thinking with pneumatics. This is the plan for our carp cannon. We have a pneumatically powered cannon with 2 air reservoirs and a huge barrel that will fit a fish and a plug to help push it out smoothly.
Got it?
Oh, I got it!
Yeah.
All this will mount to our aiming rig, which allows us to tilt and pan. That's mounted to the back of our boat, where Brian and I will, boom, fire a fish at our unsuspecting water skier at 35 miles an hour.
But before Brian and John take the carp cannon out on the water,
Always remember, when firing a fish, use plenty of lubricant.
they need to figure out how much air pressure is needed to propel a fish at this speed.
We're gonna start at around 60 PSI and try to dial this thing into the 35 miles per hour. 2-pound fish cannon test in 3, 2, 1. 2-pound fish cannon test in 3, 2, 1.
Fish hit the blast shield.
You think that's 35 miles per hour?
Let's check the high speed.
It's one fast fish.
I can't even tell what part of the fish is the front and what part of the fish is the back. It's just a blur of meat.
But was it fast enough?
No, that's 116 miles per hour. We might need to back it off a fair amount.
Yeah, just a bit.
By priming the carp cannon with less air pressure, the muzzle velocity of the flying fish should fall.
Let's give her a go.
The question is, by how much?
2-pound fish cannon at 40 PSI in 3, 2, 1. Still seems fast.
And the high-speed footage confirms the carp cannon's still firing hot.
At 60 PSI, we got 116 miles per hour. 40 PSI, we got 60 miles per hour. So next stop, 35 PSI, trying to get 35 miles per hour in 3, 2, 1.
That seems softer.
Seemed just about right.
And this time, the carp cannon's right on the money.
We did our test at 35 PSI, and surprisingly, we got 35 miles per hour. So 35 PSI is what we're gonna use to get 35 miles per hour on the water.
This is the boat that will be towing that houses our water ski buster while we try to nail him in the face with a bunch of fish. The problem is, when we have him in here in his skiing position, it's kind of unstable. I think this calls for some kind of boat stability rig. Nope, nope. Something like this. One, put the other one here, and then outriggers. Plate, threaded rod. Threaded rod means that we can adjust the trim, so when the entire assembly's in the water traveling at speed, it'll be traveling at the right angle. I just have 2 more threaded rod on this side, followed by a kayak and more threaded rod. See what I mean? Kayak number 1, kayak number 2, structure in between to hold it all together.
It's a pretty nifty design, huh?
It's rock and roll road rage results time. 5 very different drivers have completed the MythBusters driving test. But did aggressive music increase their frustration levels and make them drive more aggressively?
All right, the data's in. We're gonna start with Andrew. Andrew's time remained about the same during his second run. We saw a decrease in his number of errors, but an increase in his number of frustration spikes. Up second is Evelyn, who took a slightly longer time on her second run, but decreased both her errors and frustration spikes.
Kalik, less time, same amount of errors, but then actually a dip down in frustration spikes. What do you think?
Andrew, Evelyn, and Kalik really didn't have any discernible difference in their data.
But Jill and Gary showed significant difference between the calm drive and the aggro drive. Jill had a faster time on her second run, actually a bump in her errors, and a way bigger bump in her frustration spikes. And then there's good old Gary with a dramatically faster second lap time, way more errors, and a pretty big jump in frustration spikes.
Neuroscientist Bill Scott's performance test pegged Gary and Jill as higher frustration personalities, and therefore more prone to plain old non-rock and roll road rage than the other 3 test drivers. And the course and EEG results seem to suggest this could be a factor when it comes to judging the plausibility of rock and roll road rage.
And based on Jill and Gary's results, I'm gonna have to say this myth is plausible.
Totally, but the other 3 drivers do suggest it's not 100%.
Right?
Rock and roll road rage is definitely a thing, but you're more likely to feel it only if you're predisposed to road rage.
I'm gonna go drive the course.
I'll play rock and roll. Wham!
Still to come.
Here we go. Loading fish.
Brian and John take final aim at the myth of killer carp.
3, 2, 1. Oh! Direct hit!
Brian and John have come to Lake Piru for the final test of the myth of killer carp.
Look at this place.
Beautiful, man.
According to this decidedly fishy tale, a leaping 2-pound fish hit a water skier in the face, breaking his neck and killing him instantly. To simulate the collision, the MythBusters have built a high-powered pneumatic cannon. So this day on the water's sure to be a blast.
Let's go put a cannon on a boat.
Let's do it.
Here's the plan for today. We're gonna rig up our pneumatic fish cannon to the back of our towboat.
Woo!
Towed behind it will be Buster with his anatomically correct head and neck. You ready for this guy?
Here we go.
Remember, when you go skiing, don't forget your head. We're gonna fire a 2-pound fish at 35 miles per hour at Buster's head, see what happens.
All right, safety first.
35 PSI.
Here we go.
This is the pressure required to fire a fish from the cannon at a muzzle velocity of 35 miles an hour.
There it is.
And because the cannon is traveling at exactly the same speed as water skiing Buster,
here we go. Loading fish.
35 miles an hour will also be the impact velocity when fish meets anatomically correct face.
Ready?
All right, man. Take good aim. Here we go. 2-pound fish at 35 miles an hour. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Oh! Well shot, sir. Well shot.
The ballistic bottom feeder delivers a solid body blow. But remember, the collision in the myth was between fish and face.
We're not going to pull Buster into shore just yet to check his neck because we think the fish hit his chest and then bounced up. So we're going to reload and fire again. Ready?
Ready.
All right, 2-pound fish, 35 miles an hour at Buster's head. And 3, 2, 1. Oh!
Again, Buster takes most of the force of impact on his chest before the carp glances off his chin.
Fired a couple fish, but I don't think we've hit quite the right spot. We've been chest and right below the chin. We need one to the face.
You pretty much got it dialed in perfectly, just a little bit higher.
Right to the forehead?
Right to the forehead.
Right to the face.
3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh!
The replay reveals a devastating direct hit, the fish instantly rearranging Buster's fine features. In fact, it actually knocked some of them off altogether.
I think I can see the damage from here. It looks like a piece of his face broke off.
Shooting fish out of this was a lot better than I thought. The 35 PSI gave us, give or take, that 35 miles per hour we're looking for, and the accuracy was fantastic. I think I'm the world champion precision fish shooter.
Back on shore, it's time to check if Buster's injuries are fatal.
He smells like fish.
Usually in EMS, we remove all your clothes to look for additional injury. In this case, we're moving the head to check out the neck. Pretty unconventional.
And also, I know it's broad daylight, but you can see that the glow stick inside is definitely broken.
Oh, yeah. Remember, we put that glow stick in the spine to look for any sort of injury to it. You can see it in 2 spots. The base of the cervical spine, it's absolutely crushed, and an internal decapitation at the base of the skull. He's not going to be skiing anytime soon, and I don't know if he's going to be living anytime soon.
So this seemingly fishy tale of killer carp may not be such a whopper after all.
We've done what we needed to do here to test that 2-pound fish hitting a skier going 35 miles per hour. But one wonders, if you have a bigger fish and the skier's going a little bit faster, what would happen?
Say hello to our 5-pound carp.
And 5-pound carp say hello to large bore pneumatic cannon.
In you go. You hear?
Buster's redonned his skis and has a fresh head on his shoulders. But for how much longer?
3, 2, 1. Ooh! Oh! Okay. Holy moly. The back of his head might have touched the actual back of his body.
So if you're skiing behind a boat, fish jumps up and hits you in the face, I'd hope it's not 5 pounds. So, 2-pound fish coming out of the water 10 miles per hour, water skier going 25 miles per hour. What do you say?
I mean, your neck's definitely broken. You're toast.
Myth confirmed.
Confirmed. All right, Captain, let's get out of here. And watch out for those silver carp.
Oh man, they're everywhere.
Hey, how about sushi for dinner after this?
Sushi sounds good, man.